And here is our turbo. Well, good evening and welcome to the Arbor Hills Nature Preserve in Plano, Texas. Tonight's exercise is a field test of the FENIX C7 PRO. I want to thank Fenix Lighting for sending me this light and making the review possible. Well, second generation of the C7s. One is long throw. This is higher lumen, lower candela, more of a floody or wide area light. Just how floody is it? Well, that's why we do the field tests. Definitely has some heft to it, rather short one-way clip. Strike bezel, although it does not have glass breaking beads. This is your control switch, USB-C charging, mag base. We will look at that a bit later. There are two output modes, general and flash. General, which is the default mode when you turn the light on, gives you access to the usual eco, low, medium, high, turbo output levels. Flash gives you access to strobe and SOS. There is memory in general. Flash always goes to strobe first. So there is no direct to ego, direct to turbo. But since I said flash always goes to strobe, does that mean there is direct to strobe? Well, if you have any experience with Fenix, you'll recognize the half-second press and hold for turning on and off, 1.2-second press and hold for accessing auxiliary or other modes. So yes, 1.2 seconds press and hold gives you strobe. Well, it's a matter of opinion as to whether or not that is direct. My personal opinion, and just my personal opinion, is the only real use case for strobe is immediate in a defensive context. 1.2 seconds, that can be a very, very long time in a defensive situation. So I might argue that that's more like delay to strobe as opposed to direct to strobe. I will let you make up your own mind. And on that particular note, I know you're not here to listen to me babble on about the UI. We will, in fact, look at that strobe in the next chapter. So it's time for me to shut up, get out there, and we'll let the light speak for itself. The light is currently off. Half-second press and hold, then release, turns it on. Half-second back off. Well, to get to 1.2 seconds, you have to go through a half. So on, then 1.2, there's the strobe. Interesting strobe pattern. Click, there's the SOS. Click again, back to strobe. Half-second press and hold, release for off. Now check this out. Hold all the way to 1.2 seconds. Off, but I'm still holding. Oh, it comes back on. Okay, well, that's a lot to absorb, but I wanted to show you how that strobe looked and let you see that half to 1.2 second transition. Hope you found it useful. At the bridge where I normally do output level test in eco, lots of growth this time of year, so I'm going to do the opposite side. Low, medium. Maximum line of sight is over 60 yards, but getting through all that brush is pretty tough. There is high, which definitely gets the job done, and you can see the field of view there, and I'm going to show turbo in a separate context. This is turbo with about 40, a little over 40 yards line of sight, but a very dark area, and it's a very bright night tonight with the low clouds and the lights from the surrounding city reflecting off those clouds. So it's like having a supermoon on steroids. So now I'm going to go out to a much brighter, wide open area. Gap between those trees there is a good 100. And as we angle off in the distance, it's like 120 to 140. I can do detection out there. I would have a real problem with identification. In fact, unless something's reflective, like it had a bright coat or eye shine or something like that, it would be hard detecting something much beyond the gap in those trees. So I'm doing some exploration out here, no more than maybe 35 yards line of sight, more of a wide open, brighter area. I might be getting out to a good 50 right in there. And this is medium output level. And so for just general exploration in a bound of no more than maybe 50 yards, this seems to be doing a pretty decent job. First practical exercise of the evening, close quarters search. You know the drill. This is the playground. Your kids were out here earlier playing. They dropped something. Now you have to come back and search for it. This is Eco, which I think does a fairly credible job out to maybe 8-10 yards. If you're searching for something reflective, you're in good shape. If not, you may want to go up one. There's low. That pretty much nails it for what I would call a close quarter search. Even lets you get some decent visibility, say down towards the swing set area, especially if you're searching for something reflective. For path following, low is the lowest mode that I would want to use. Adequate downrange, but just adequate. Side to side is okay again, but just adequate. Now, there's medium. That gives you considerable flexibility in terms of both downrange and peripheral at the expense of burning a bit more battery. Now, if you're following an extremely well-defined path like this concrete, you can get away with eco, especially if you're just focused maybe no more than 10, 12 yards in front of you. Mag base, perpendicular angle, works just fine. Let's give it something a little bit more challenging. And the issue with a large, long, bulky light is that that is the maximum angle that I can go before the light wants to completely slip away from the surface. And here is our turbo burn down test. Tree line here, that edge varies in the low to mid 60s until you get out right in that area. It's a bit longer. That gap right there, I can get out to beyond 70. You can see the very well-defined hot spot and very bright and generous spill. Definitely feeling some heat in the head area of the light. That's about it. The rest of the body is rather comfortable. And we're seeing some signs of step down. But I don't have to move this light very much. Use my peripheral vision, I can do pretty good detection all the way across. Move over and light up that area. Okay, we're right around 2. I guess I'll let this run till 3. This is starting to look kind of like a steady state. And heat is not really an issue at all in the body of the light. Also keep in mind, like I said, it's a very bright night out tonight, but I like to test under a variety of conditions. As I have often said, every light looks great in a perfectly dark environment. All right, I think that's going to do it for this test. Let's go wrap this thing up for the night. All right, you've seen this wrap up before, but we're going to do it from a different path, starting out in eco, low, medium. You can see where we're coming up to. Look at some photonic barriers. Yeah, it really dies out going into the depth of that structure. So a couple things to think about. How are you going to carry this light? I tried it tonight in the top right jacket pocket, but it's a cool night so I can get away with the jacket. Worked really well. Didn't like the tests I ran where I tried to clip it onto my ruck. So let's turn around, look back into this brighter area. There's high, certainly a much better job. So you might want to spend some time thinking about how you're going to carry and deploy the light. I know it's real easy, especially for people who are new to flashlights, to just get excited about the big number on the box. They hit the add to cart button. There's a big difference between a flashy, fancy, colorful box and taking the light out and actually using it in the field. Well, can't get quite the view I want with all the construction, but lighting up the top of the trees out there, probably 130, 140, maybe even a little bit longer in turbo. So I think that's going to go ahead and do it for me. I hope you saw enough tonight to make a decision. If not, leave a comment. I'll see what I can do. And as always, until the next review, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching the video.